welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hadley. I make fashion, lifestyle, music related videos, so if that's interesting to you, be sure to subscribe. Today I'm going to be doing all the books that I read in 2020 video. I did one of these last year called all the books I read in 2019, and I want to continue the theme, do it again this year. I was a huge book fanatic when I was younger. I read so many of them, and my whole family loves reading books, so I definitely think it's like in the genes. Yes, I'm gonna share the books that I read this year. I didn't read too many because 2020 was a mess, and I just felt myself being unmotivated to read this year. But I read quite a lot of books for being unmotivated, to be honest, for me. I only read 6 books, but that's still quite a lot for someone who is getting back into the groove of things. And yeah, I'm just gonna explain the books that I read and give you a synopsis of them, and yes, let's get started. If you guys saw my 2019 one, I had started reading this book, but I had not finished it. So it is the Call Me By Your Name second book called Find Me, and I finished it. It was a very difficult read, to be honest. For me, I mean, I'm 23, but I thought it was really hard to read, to be honest. It doesn't have chapters, so it's like there's no like stopping in a way. It's kind of like, you know, just goes on. You kind of have to just stop where you want to stop. It's in 3 parts, and one's the dad, one's Oliver, and one's Elio. The dad's I felt like was a little too long and kind of creepy if you read this book. And I felt like Oliver should have had more, to be honest. But I still thought this was a really good book, and it definitely gave me the ending that we all wanted in Call Me By Your Name. If you guys read the book, it's pretty similar to the movie, but still. Highly recommend. And also this cover is so pretty. Yeah, next 2 books I read were like a series. So back in high school, when I said that I read fan fiction, this book that I read was a fan fiction. It's called After. It was a Harry Styles fan fiction on Wattpad, which is a very popular site for fan fiction and like new book writers. So she actually got, the writer of this book, Anna Todd, got a book deal, and she wrote 4 books in the series. I've read 1 through 3. I have not read the 4th one, but I decided to read the actual books where they changed the names from Harry Styles to Hardin Scott and so on and so on. And also I heard that there's like more stuff in here, and I just decided to read them because there's 2 movies out currently, and I just never got around to like actually reading the actual publications of them. So the first book is called After, and this is a movie, and you can find it on Netflix. But it just follows a young girl going to college, and she meets like a toxic bad boy. And I'm honestly a sucker for those kind of books. I know that like toxic relationships are not good to be in, but there's just something about them that's just like really interesting. I want to find out kind of like how their relationship ends. So yeah, it's definitely an easy read. I finished this one in 2 weeks, probably because I knew what was happening. Yes, and they are pretty big too, but they go by pretty fast. And then I read After We Collided. I actually read this before the second movie came out in October, and I kind of forgot what happened in this book, but I felt like they just kept breaking up and getting back together too much, and I felt like it was just getting annoying at times. But from what I remember in the 3rd book, that doesn't happen as much. But yes, the movie actually went with the book for the second movie, with the second book. the first movie didn't really go with the book, but I also felt like it was rambling. Anna Todd, she writes really well, but there's just times when things could have just been like edited out. Like I felt like it was unnecessary. I highly recommend for college, maybe 18 up people to read it, because it is probably rated R. I mean, the second movie is rated R, but still good. I'm hopefully gonna read the third and the fourth one. I know that the third and fourth movie just officially wrapped, so they're gonna be coming out probably next year, and then in 2022. Ooh. So yes, good reads. The next book that I read, I don't have like the actual book. I rented it from my library. It is called If I Had Your Face. It actually came out this year in 2020, and my mom actually got an email about it and sent it to me thinking that I would be interested in it, because I just this summer got into K-pop. And it's called If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. I believe that's how she pronounces it. But it's about these women in Seoul, Korea, and it's really interesting. So it's about 4 girls, more like 5 girls, but the one girl doesn't have like her point of view, but they're all like from different backgrounds, and it kind of shows like, you know, women in a different country and kind of like how they deal with life. And I felt very like informed about other women in different countries, and also I felt really like I connected with them. I always like, oh, I feel the same way. And it's crazy because like even though they live so far away, they like have the same struggles as me. But it's crazy. One girl's like obsessed with K-pop, one's obsessed with like having a pretty face, another is like obsessed with like having a good reputation, the other is like an artist, and the other girl is like struggling in like the economy, which is very, very relatable, and definitely relate to, I forgot her name. Oh, Miho. I'll put it here. It's M-I-H-O, and I definitely relate with her because she went to school in America and she was an artist, and she has a little sketch boyfriend, but I like her like storyline. I think it's really good. And the only thing that like sucked about this book is that it was so short. Like I wanted more. I like want to know what happens, and I definitely feel like it ended on a really like abrupt cliffhanger. I'm hoping that she does a second one. I feel like she is, just because of how it ended. So Frances Cha, if you're watching this, I loved your book. Please make a book too, because it was really, really good. The next book that I read was by Lily Reinhart, and it's a poem book. And I love Lily Reinhart. I think that Lily Reinhart's probably one of my favorite actresses. I feel like she has good moral standards, and I definitely relate to her a lot. Like she talks about mental health and like a lot of important issues, and she wrote a poem book called Swimming Lessons, and it's really pretty. There's pretty illustrations in here, and it's kind of just like her life. She writes about love and mental health, and it's kind of like Milk and Honey. If you read that one, it's very good. I highly recommend it if you're into poems. It's definitely not like the traditional poems where it like rhymes. It's just like kind of her thoughts. And yeah, it's really beautiful. And yeah, she's a great human being, so I will support her. And the last book that I read in 2020 is actually, I'm still currently reading it. I only have like a couple chapters left. It's called Pudding. This is another book that I talked about in my last year's video that I was currently reading. I'd only read about half of it, and then I turned it into the library because the like window that I could read it was up. So I'm currently reading this from the library at the moment, and yeah, it's good. It's the continuation of Dumpling, which is the first book, which is also a movie on Netflix. Highly recommend. And it's just about 2 of the characters from that book, and they have kind of opposite lives and they become friends. And yeah, it's really good. And if you like pageantry, dance, all that, this is a good book for you. That is all the books that I read in 2020. Again, not a lot, but still, in my opinion, quite a lot of books, because I know people who don't read any books at all. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.